Welcome back to my cozy corner of the internet. I'm Mayastar, and this is the Mayastar Podcast. I teach energy healing courses online through Mayastar Academy, share spiritual guidance and mystical musings on the Maya Muses blog, and provide healing, ritual, and spellcasting services. As a star-seeded shaman and professional witch, on the Mayastar Podcast, I release articles, discussions, and energy updates every week, covering energy healing, spiritual awakening, lightworkers, starseeds, magic, and New Age spirituality. This episode is being re-released with upgraded audio and new cover art to coincide with the launch of the new Mayastar Podcast YouTube channel. Please check it out and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the new content coming soon. And welcome back to my cozy corner of the internet. I'm Mayastar, and today we have another unscripted video. In this unscripted video, I'm going to be talking to you about the latest Mayastar updates, including the special offers for the Lotus Fountain energy healing technique, the Luring Moon Abundance Alignment 30-day ritual intensive. I'll be answering some of your questions about energy healing and how it can help your manifesting work, and talking about my latest channeled meditation with the Lemurian light language light codes, which is called the Lemurian Luring Moon Light Codes meditation. As usual, I come armed with notes but without a script. So we'll be meandering around these topics and pursuing the scenic route to enlightenment. If this sounds interesting to you, stick around and while away the next half an hour or so with me as we explore these things together. If you'd like to work with me to progress your spiritual path with energy healing attunement courses, or any of the services that I offer through my website, which includes the energy healing transmissions, the spiritual guidance and mentoring options, the Mayastar Temple Blessing ceremonies, and the magical workings available on the Maya Magical website, please check out the links in the description box below, where you can learn more about the options available, join the mailing list, and become a part of the Mayastar tribe. If you have any questions for future episodes, please leave them in the comment section below or email them to me, and I will add them to the list to be considered for future episodes. If you have more detailed questions or personal questions that you would like my insight on, if you visit the Temple Services page on the Mayastar website at mayastar.net, you'll find the option for spiritual mentoring sessions, and you can always take a one-off session in order to address a particular situation and receive some guidance from me. I'm going to start off this week's episode talking about the Lotus Fountain Healing Attunement course. This is an energy attunement that was channeled through the Great Mother Goddess Kuan Yin. Kuan Yin is a goddess of love and compassion and mercy and forgiveness. She is a very gentle and kind energy to connect with, similar in many ways to Mother Mary, and for me personally, the goddess Freya as well, if you work in the northern tradition. But the Lotus Fountain Healing Attunement is powerful for spiritual healing, emotional healing, and for anybody that's working towards their spiritual development, because the symbol of the lotus expresses the journey of the human soul as we work through the difficulties, we deal with the dirtiness of life, and we work through the darkness and then ascend through the different layers of reality until we are able to access our higher consciousness. And the lotus expresses this in its own journey while it's in the dirt and the mud and surrounded by darkness, that it is somehow moved to crack the seed and begin growing, to develop roots and then to begin to grow upwards. And it doesn't know where it's growing, it can't see where it's growing into because it's surrounded by darkness. And in a way you can understand that in the levels of human consciousness, where we are limited in our understanding as we participate in the 3D reality, and we're confronted with the difficult experiences of the temporal world and the challenges that we need to overcome, the limitations of the human ego and the way we interpret different experiences as negative when they may not necessarily be negative. Like the lotus reminds us that it's that darkness that's so essential in our motivation to grow and develop, and without that we might never take that step. So working with the Lotus Fountain Healing course can help you to connect with that energy, to develop a deeper connection with that symbol so that you can interpret your own experiences in a new light and understand where you've come from, where you're going, and perhaps move beyond the limitations of judging things as good or bad, positive or negative, and allow things to just be part of your journey, and understand that even the darkness is essential for that journey, and it's not bad or negative, it's just not necessarily comfortable. And just as the lotus moves from the darkness through all the layers of water until the water becomes clear and it perceives the light above it, the daylight, the sun, and then it is inspired to bloom. And a blooming lotus is a symbol of awakening and of full consciousness, or the gaining of the sight, so that you have that new and complete perspective. I can tell you one thing, the lotus doesn't get to the top of the water and then start going, ew, where are my roots? Oh, it's so dirty, it's horrible. The lotus doesn't do that. The lotus, as it blooms into the daylight, is justifying its journey, every part of its journey, even the difficult parts, the dirty parts, the yucky parts. It is revealing the truth of its experiences, the truth, the translation of those negative and dark experiences into something beautiful, brilliant and light. And we can meditate on that image, we can meditate on that symbol, and that can help us to understand what we're going through and where we're moving to. And working with the Lotus Fountain Healing Attunement course can be a profound way of doing that. If you want to use one of my meditation tracks to enhance your experiences of working with the Lotus Fountain Healing course, I recommend the Ocean of Compassion meditation. which expresses the energy of Kuan Yin, and which you can find on the Mayastar YouTube channel on the Releases tab or on your favourite music app. You can also purchase Mayastar meditations from Amazon or iTunes. And as I said, the Lotus Fountain Healing Attunement course is on special offer this week, so you can purchase it for the special offer price through the Mayastar website at mayastar.net. If you're a newsletter subscriber, you're going to hear about that shortly if you haven't already heard about it. And if you're not already a newsletter subscriber, you can become a member of the Mayastar tribe by joining the Mayastar mailing list at mayastar.net. Next, I want to answer a question that was submitted by Lily by email. And I'm sorry, I don't have the question on my list now. I don't know, I can't find it anyway, but I remember it because I had it in other notes that I'd written down for today's episode. And roundabout what it was is Lily asked which crystals could she work with to enhance her manifesting sessions. She was working with Lakshmi's Golden Good Fortune attunement. So my recommendation for anybody working on their manifesting would be to work with some form of quartz. Quartz is a very powerful crystal, and if you don't have any of the other types of quartz, clear quartz is particularly good for programming, and it contains all of the different energy frequencies. So if you think about the way that pure white light is a combination of all the different colours of light combined to form pure white light, when we're working with clear quartz, it's the pure white light of the crystal world, and all of the different energetic vibrations that are reflected in different colours for different energies are combined within clear quartz. And it's important as a way of amplifying the properties of other crystals, especially if you place quartz points around another crystal. You can really amplify the effect of that crystal. So my thoughts for you, Lily, were to perhaps use a piece of citrine quartz, which is a sort of yellow gold colour, and that's a particularly good crystal for manifesting. If you want to manifest happiness, success, or financial prosperity, any crystals that are sort of yellow or gold would be good options. But citrine quartz is particularly potent because the energy it gives out is so positive that it doesn't need regularly cleansing like other crystals do. Like clear quartz, you would need to cleanse that regularly, but citrine quartz, you don't need to do that. And so that makes it a very good crystal to use as a centerpiece for your abundance and prosperity altar. It's also a very good stone that you could use to represent the goddess Lakshmi on your altar. She has a similar high frequency, high energy, happy, joyful and successful energy about her. So it makes an excellent representation and an object for you to focus on when you're connecting with Lakshmi using the techniques in the Lakshmi Golden Good Fortune system. And I'm sure you're already using it, but the Lakshmi Golden Good Fortune meditation can be used to enhance your experience with working with that energy. And you can find that on the Releases tab on YouTube or any of your favourite music apps. Just search for Lakshmi Golden Good Fortune and you'll find the meditation for that. Another idea I had for you for how you might set up your crystal centerpiece for your altar would be for you to write a petition to Lakshmi stating your intentions. And just by writing down what you're actually aiming for can be a powerful magical act in itself, because you're translating your ineffable thoughts and your feelings, your emotions, your hopes, all these things that you probably don't particularly define or pin down. You're pinning them down by writing them down, and that in itself can be a sacred act. And then you can place your petition beneath the crystal and intend that through this, your intentions will be communicated energetically with the goddess, as well as any other methods you're using. But that would be a nice way to set up your altar for that purpose, if you're working with this energy regularly. If you're not working with this energy regularly, then I would say having a centerpiece that is something more neutral might be a good idea. When I'm working on manifesting work, I tend to use lapis lazuli, but that's just me and something that I've come to over a period of time. That's what works for me. But if you have a particular crystal that you feel drawn to, it might be that that's something that you can use on your altar, and it might not be citrine. It might be something completely different. It might not even be a crystal, but something that you can use as a centerpiece, something to focus on while you're going through your regular practice. So whether you meditate or perhaps use affirmations or something like that. And another way that you might enhance the process would be to follow my social media so that you receive the daily posts for the energy update. The energy update readings go out on the Monday each week, and I share the full reading on the Maya Muses website, and the full video goes live on Monday. But then each day I release the daily card, so it has a little write-up telling you the interpretation of the card in the context of working with the law of attraction and developing a positive mindset, and includes a daily affirmation that you can work with to help you to align with those positive energies. And this brings me on to my latest channeled meditation, which is the Lemurian Luring Moon Light Codes. And this is a meditation that includes some channeled Lemurian light language, which is the vocal expression of different energetic frequencies. And each of these runes, the Lemurian runes, has a different purpose and connects us with a different energy flow. So the energies that are combined in this particular Lemurian rune song are to bring in positive energies, healing energies, energies for transformation, for leaving behind negative experiences or limiting beliefs, so that you can move forward with a more optimistic and open-minded outlook and access new possibilities for yourself, new opportunities, and find new inspiration. So the runes in this song can enhance your creativity. They can increase the flow of life force throughout your system. There are runes for protection, connection with family, connection with friends and loved ones, and also runes for wish granting and helping you to align with your true intentions so that you don't squander your energy by focusing on the things that you think you should want rather than the things that you actually do want. So working with this meditation might be a good option for you to combine with your crystal altar for your manifesting work. And this meditation has been channeled so that it can be used with the Luring Moon Abundance Alignment 30-day ritual intensive, which is a 30-day spell where the spell is repeated daily for a full month in order to allow the energy to really accumulate and intensify so that it has a far-ranging sphere of influence. And the Luring Moon Abundance Alignment 30-day ritual intensive is designed to strengthen the positive karmic bonds that connect with you. So you've probably heard of negative karmic bonds when I've talked about the Killing Moon Karmic Reversal 30-day ritual intensive, which is the working that I start on the dark moon, and the Luring Moon starts on the full moon. So this month it will be starting on the 27th of December, and harnessing the power of the winter solstice along with the full moon energy to amplify the effect. So this is a good and powerful time for this working, and it's intended to help you get off to a good start for the new year with your New Year's resolutions, your new habits, or if you're starting anything new, the Luring Moon is an excellent way to ensure that things go smoothly and that all the positive energetic connections you have are strengthened and new positive connections can be established so that more opportunities are available to you, and the flow of life force energy within you and within your life in all areas of your life is enhanced, which is a very important thing. It's a simple thing, but it's very important because when that energy becomes stagnant, things may not work as well as we would anticipate. If you've got blocked energy in your home, for example, you might notice that things don't go very well at home, that you find you walk into the house but end up in a bad mood because you're picking up on stagnant energy that has accumulated. Well, the Luring Moon resolves that by reinforcing the positive connections and getting the life force energy flowing around the system so that blocks are naturally cleared away. And that's why this working is particularly potent if you're having a Killing Moon cycle as well, because then you have on the one hand the dissolution and resolution of negative karmic bonds, and on the other you have the establishment and reinforcement of the positive karmic bonds, so you can completely change the energetic landscape. And this week, the Luring Moon Abundance Alignment 30-day ritual intensive is on a special offer for newsletter subscribers. So if you're a newsletter subscriber, you'll already know about it, and if you're not, you may want to join the mailing list in order to be included in this special offer. And if you do participate in the Luring Moon Abundance Alignment 30-day ritual intensive, I definitely recommend using the Lemurian Luring Moon Light Codes meditation to enhance the experience. And it's a very uplifting and positive meditation track, so I think you're going to enjoy it. I've made a dreamscape version, which I think will work well overnight while you're winding down for sleep and that kind of thing. I'm also doing an ocean waves and a thunder drum mix. At the time of recording this video, I've already finished these tracks, so they will be released very soon, and they'll already be available at the time you're watching this video. So you can find those on the releases tab on YouTube or on your favourite music app, or purchase them from Amazon or iTunes. And the last question I have for today is another one that was submitted by email. This one says, you mentioned that you don't allow electronics in the temple. Could you explain why? Well, I'm a little bit more flexible these days with the electronics, in that I will wear headphones in the temple, and I do have a speaker that I take into the temple. But when I say I don't allow electronics, what I mean mostly is that I never take my phone in to sessions, because I find it way too distracting. And I mean, even if I've got the sound off, I find just the presence of the phone a bit of a distraction, I guess because of what it stands for. I mean, it's a means of outward communication with other people, with social media, communication with the entire world, sort of thing. But no, I find it's just that energy really doesn't work for me within the temple. I used to have a tablet that I used in the temple, but that stopped working a long time ago. So now I use the phone. I set up a playlist on there, but I don't have it within the same room. I just have the speaker or headphones. That's only if I need music for that particular ritual, but I often do, because most of them are dance rituals for me. So I do often have music in the temple, usually my own music now. So that's quite a change, because it used to be mostly classical music that I would dance to for those rituals, and now I'm developing my own music and dancing to that. It's quite an interesting experience for me, I have to say. It feels like some sort of weird alchemy to be dancing to your own music. In a way, it feels like I don't actually hear the music properly until I'm performing a ritual with it, because the rest of the time, if I'm mixing it, I'm listening to it in a certain way rather than appreciating the entire sound. So yeah, it's nothing to do with EMFs, if that's what you were thinking. I don't have any particular beliefs about, EMFs given off by electronic things affecting your psychic senses. They don't affect mine anyway. But I think the mobile phone is a bit different because of what it represents. I mean, it's not even just if you start receiving notifications, it's a distraction. I think symbolically it's a distraction. I've had to move it away from where I'm working some of the time, because if I see notifications come through on the phone out of the corner of my eye, that can distract me from what I'm doing, and maybe I'll stop what I'm doing and then go off to read an email or something like that. And it certainly wouldn't work within the temple. And I also don't allow recording devices in the temple. This is just my preference. I know there are witches that do, but for me it's an extension of the idea that we don't talk about the spells that we perform. We don't tell people when we're performing a spell. For ourselves, we wouldn't talk about that to other people, because even if you think other people are supportive of your goals, they may not be. They may say all the right things, but they might be thinking something different. They might be fearful or jealous, or they might just have a judgmental attitude. And you don't really want that energy having any effect on your spell. You really don't. And so for me, it's almost like an extension of this habit of silence around magic that was very much emphasized when I was a young witch, but these days is perhaps not, because people post pictures of their altar and pictures of their ritual garb all over social media, like nothing sacred anymore. But even though I consider myself a professional witch, it's not something. I'm not going to cosplay as a witch in order to make my social media look more exotic, because what I'm doing when I'm practicing magic, it's a sacred thing. It would be like you wouldn't go into a church and start recording yourself going to take communion or something. That would be really weird, wouldn't it? That would be so wrong. If that was a ritual that meant a lot to you, why would you do that? That would be really, really weird. And so for me, it's the exact same thing. I wouldn't be recording my rituals like that. It's between me and the gods. When I'm in that environment, everything, it's just between me and the gods. And I'm certainly not going to be publishing it on the internet, and I'm certainly not going to be recording it in photos and videos and sharing that. Because to me, I like I said, I feel like it is just an extra step beyond why we keep silent about spells. This is just my personal feeling about the subject. I know other people do different things, and that's fine. If they feel comfortable sharing that, then that's fine, obviously. But I certainly wouldn't do. But I'm kind of old-fashioned when it comes to witchcraft in some ways, I suppose. Never say never. Maybe I'll change my mind in the future, but certainly at the moment, no, it doesn't vibe with me, this idea of inviting in everybody into your sacred space like that. So yeah, it's not, I used to just put it as simply as no electronics in the temple, but it isn't that simple really. Because it's more to do with communication. It's more to do with emphasizing the sacred silence around magic. Because I find that powerful anyway. I think that adds to the spell. It adds to the potency of the magic for me. So I'll keep doing what works. And I actually chose to answer this question this week, inspired by this week's energy update reading, where the card that represents the dominant energetic influence that we can tap into to enhance and progress the spiritual journey was the Temperance card. And for me, that's a card that often comes up when it's time to switch your phone off for a few hours and really take a break. It's a card where I might, if that came up for me as a daily card, I might spend extra time doing something like yoga or trance work, something quiet, something less energizing. Like some of my rituals can be quite energizing because they're dance rituals, and sometimes that can be quite stimulating, whereas other practices that I complete are completed in silence, and that's a whole different vibe. So the Temperance card coming up is usually something where I want to participate in a practice that revolves around silence, and that reminded me of why I don't take electronics into the temple, because of the magical emphasis on intentional silence. So yeah, now I've got a new connection there with the Temperance card. I'll be thinking of that in future when I see it, reminding myself to keep my mouth shut. Although for me that's a habit now, when it comes to my own magical workings. If I'm doing a magical working for you, working on your behalf, I do recommend that you acknowledge the same when it comes to whether you want to discuss what you're doing with the people around you. I would advise that you don't, if possible. And I actually covered this in the Maya Magical Information Manual, which I provide to Maya Magical clients, that explains a bit about how magic works and what you can expect from spells, but also what you can do to enhance the experience, to prepare yourself really for receiving those manifestations of magic. And I would say one of the important things is that you don't discuss it with other people, because when you're doing something magically for yourself, it should be all about your intentions. It shouldn't be about accommodating other people's intentions for you. And I would say that's exactly the same if I'm working on somebody's behalf magically or working on my own behalf. I feel like the silence around magic is just another way of amplifying the potency of that energetic mix and ensuring that it doesn't become compromised and limited by unwanted input, unwanted influences. I mean, I do everything I can. My energetic hygiene is off the charts. I'm very careful in that regard, but silence is a big part of it. And I think that's everything I wanted to talk to you about today. I hope you've enjoyed this talk, and I hope you'll be leaving this video suffused with good vibes and great ideas. If you have any questions for future episodes, please leave them in the comments and I'll add them to my list, or you can email me. If you'd like to work with me, please visit mayastar.net to find out about the services I offer, the magical interventions and spellcasting services, energy attunement courses with distance attunement so you can take them at any time that's convenient to you. I also provide energy healing sessions for distance energy healing transmissions, temple blessing services to enhance your health, wealth, strength, joy and peace, and I provide spiritual guidance for individual consultations using tarot as inspiration, and you can buy those sessions either as ongoing weekly sessions or as single one-off sessions through the Mayastar website by visiting the Temple Services page. And all that remains is for me to say, I hope you've had a good week, and I hope you're about to have another one. And I hope you'll be back here again next week for some more mystical meanderings with me. But in the meantime, I wish you peace, prosperity, and progress in all you do. With blessings.